So this was a time when we were traveling, going to our leadership and management trip, going to Cebu City. So we are riding in a series. Yes, and it was great seeing the beautiful creation of God, the beautiful mountains, and the artistic design of the trees. Indeed, nature and revelation alike testify of God's love. And the lovely birds making the air vocal with their happy songs, the delicately tinted flowers in their perfection perfuming the air, the lofty trees of the forest with their rich foliage of living green. This all testify to the tender, fatherly care of our God and to His desire to make His children happy. In page 9 of the book Steps to Christ, written by Ellen G. White, she stated that we are bound to God. God has bound our hearts to Him by unnumbered tokens in heaven and on earth, through the things of nature and the deepest and tenderest earthly ties that human hearts can know. He has sought to reveal Himself to us. Yet this but imperfectly represent His love. Though all these evidences have been given, the enemy of good blinded the minds of men, so that they look upon God with fear. They thought of Him as severe and unforgiving. Satan led men to conceive of God as a being whose chief attribute is stern justice, one who is a severe judge, a harsh, exacting creditor. He pictured the Creator as being who is watching with jealous eye to discern the errors and mistakes of men, that He may visit judgments upon them. It was to remove this dark shadow by revealing to the world the infinite love of God, that Jesus came to live among men. God made man perfectly holy and happy, and the fair earth, as it came from the Creator's hand, bore no blight of decay or shadow of the curse. It is transgression of God's law, the law of love that has brought woe and death. Yet, even amid the suffering that results from sin, God's love is revealed. It is written that God cursed the ground for man's sake. Nature and revelation alike testify of God's love. Our Father in heaven is the source of life, of wisdom, and of joy. Look at the wonderful and beautiful things in nature. Think of their marvelous adaptation to the needs and happiness not only of men, but of all living creatures. The sunshine and the rain that gladden and refresh the earth, the hills and the seas and plains, all speak to us of the Creator's love. It is God who supplies the daily needs of all His creators. In the beautiful words of the psalmist, the eyes of all wait upon Thee, and Thou givest them their meat in due season. Thou openest Thine hand and satisfiest the desire of every living thing. Psalms 145 verse 15 and 16. God permitted His beloved Son, full of grace and truth, to come from a world of indescribable glory to a world marred and blighted with sin, darkened with the shadow of death and the curse. He permitted Him to live the bosom of His love, the adoration of the angels, to suffer shame, insult, humiliation, hatred, and death. God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. He gave Him not only to live among men, to bear their sins and die their sacrifice. He gave Him to the fallen race. Christ was to identify Himself with the interests and needs of humanity. He who was one with God has linked Himself with the children of men by ties that are never to be broken. Jesus is not ashamed to call them brethren. He is our sacrifice, our advocate, our brother, bearing our human form before the Father's throne, and through eternal ages, one with grace, He has redeemed the Son of Man, and all this that man might be uplifted from the ruin and degradation of sin, that he might reflect the love of God and share the joy of holiness. Such amazing love is without a parallel. Children of the Heavenly King, precious promise, fame for the most profound meditation, the matchless love of God for a world that did not love Him. The thought has a subduing power upon the soul and brings the mind into captivity to the will of God. The more we study the divine character in the light of the cross, the more we see mercy, tenderness, and forgiveness blended with equity and justice, and the more clearly we discern innumerable evidences of a love that is infinite and a tender pity. Are we valuing the love that Christ bestowed to each one of us? Think of this question. God suffered with His Son. In the agony of Gethsemane, the death of Calvary, the heart of the infinite love paid the price of our redemption. Jesus said, "Therefore doth my Father love me, because I lay down my life, that I might take it again." John chapter 10, verse 17. That is, my Father has so loved you, that He even loves me more for giving my life to redeem you, and becoming your substitute and surety. By surrendering my life, by taking your liabilities, your transgressions, I am endeared to my Father, for by my sacrifice, God can be just, and yet the justifier of him who believeth in Jesus. None but the Son of God could accomplish our redemption, for only He who was in the bosom of the Father could declare Him. Only He who knew the height and depth of the love of God could make it manifest. Nothing less than the infinite sacrifice made by Christ in behalf of fallen men could express the Father's love to lost humanity.